please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The boroughs complied with the notice provisions of the Sunshine Law by adopting prior to January 10th of this year a resolution prescribing the dates, times, and locations of all regular meetings of the Commission. This meeting is one of the meetings listed in such resolution, and copies of the resolution were prior to January 10th filed with the Borough Clerk. Okay, we've got the reports from Municipal Court, Tax Collector, and the Zoning Official. Move we accept.
I need a motion to file the following minutes. September 7th, 2021, October 4th, 2021, October 21st, 2021, and November 1st, 2021.
Move to file. Just to make a note that Commissioner Lewandowski is not here this evening. He is someone he's been in close contact with has tested positive. So he is in his 5-day waiting, get tested period. As Commissioner Robinson said to me before we started, that's kind of a reminder to everybody, especially with the holidays coming up. We have a really good vaccine rate here in Collingswood. But really urge everybody, still got to practice that social distance, big crowds, like make sure you're careful. Let's try to stay healthy through this holiday season. He's probably watching here tonight, but Commissioner Lewandowski's away for some medical reasons. Okay,
Give the recognition to Stephen Russell.
Yep, so tonight we're going to recognize one of our firemen who is retiring, Steve Russell. Steve, you want to come on up? Whomever may want to come up with as well. Just want to, I'll read parts of the resolution. Stephen. Stephen started with the Collingswood Fire Department in May of 2002 and has selflessly contributed his time and talents for the benefit of the community. He's been instrumental in advancing our department's emergency medical services, policy development and training, notably developing EMS policies to guide the department during the COVID-19 pandemic. He's instructed CPR training for lifeguards at Robert Pool, led emergency management training for all the borough staff when new AED defib units were installed in all the public locations. He's been essential in helping us get grant funding, leading the assistance to firefighters grant application, through which our fire department has received funding to support equipment and station upgrades. Stephen's received several commendations, I think that's perhaps misspelled, several commendations throughout his career, including a unit citation for rescuing 2 trapped occupants of a multiple unit apartment building in 2019. Stephen was promoted to rank of lieutenant on October 5, 2020, served as supervisor to the department's B platoon and representative to the fire officers. And as Brad was so happy to remind me to remember all the labor negotiations. Oh boy, we're still giving him a proclamation. How about that? But now, therefore, on the 6th day of December 2021, it is hereby proclaimed by the Board of Commissioners of the Borough of Collingswood, Stephen Russell should be applauded and acclaimed for his dedicated service to the town, which exemplifies the highest spirit of commitment. And we encourage all citizens to emulate his courage and leadership. Hey, best of luck. And I think there is a typo that we have. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you got it. Stephen will be finishing the end of the year officially with us. So good luck. Okay.
All right, we have a second reading and public hearing of ordinance 1711 regulating the acts of breeding and keeping honeybees and amending chapter 105 of the Collingswood Municipal Code.
So for those of you that have been following along for the many months that we've been carrying our beekeepers ordinance, tonight's the night we get to adopt. This is an ordinance that simply regulates where, you know, we have more and more people doing a really good thing, but we're trying to regulate a little bit about where people maintain their beehives and how they work with their bees. And so the state has new statutes on it. They had to review our ordinance. That takes a very long time, and we've gotten through that process. They've reviewed it. We're good to adopt. So this is the public hearing on the ordinance regulating the acts of breeding and keeping of honeybees. So if anybody like to bring anything before the commission, this is your opportunity to do so. Yes, sir.
Is there a state?
Can you just give us your name and address for it?
George Hurst, 406 Maple Avenue.
You got it.
Yeah, and my concern is that sometimes people want to put these type of locations on the perimeter of their property near their neighbor. And the neighbors may not be happy about having it. Is there a distance from the property line?
Yes, there is. That's what this is intending to do. It's intending to regulate how many colonies you're able to have, where they need to be on a property. It's kind of setting some rules down for that. Yes, it's exactly what it's for. Okay, anybody else? Okay, Tom?
Mayor Mealy?
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson? Yes. And we have the second reading.
Finally got the B word. Who'd have thought?
We have the second reading of public hearing of ordinance 1721, amending chapter 57 of the Code of the Borough of Collingswood Police Department.
Chief, just help me with what.
He drew some updates to fall in line with the accreditation standards.
Got it. So these are updates on policies and procedures related to the accreditation of the police department under the JIF rules or the state attorney general's?
State.
The state attorney general's rules. Okay. If there's anyone would like to make any comment, bring anything before the commission, this is your opportunity to do so. Anyone? Okay, Al?
Mayor Mealy?
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson? Yes.
You give me police, right?
Did I do please?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
All right, second reading of public hearing of ordinance 1722, salary ordinance fire superiors.
Right, and this is simply putting the contract settlement with the fire superiors in place. Anyone, any questions, comments on this? Okay, Al?
Mayor Mealy?
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson? Yes. We have the second reading of public hearing of ordinance 1723, amending chapter 217 of the Code of the Borough of Collingswood recreation fees.
So this is increasing a number of different fees. Most all of it is related to additional expenses that are being incurred. One of those expenses I know is state requirements with respect to background checks of coaches, security related to the to our kids, a bunch of provisions that we have to comply with. This is the and it's raising kind of across the board. A lot of the different fees are going up just a little bit. This is the second reading. Anyone like to bring anything before the commission? This is your opportunity to do so. Okay, Tom?
Mayor Mealy?
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson? Yes. Okay, we have the second reading of public hearing of ordinance 1724, amending chapter 217 in the Code of the Borough of Collingswood Robert's pool tax.
This is increase on the tags for the pool. It's still for a family, it's going to be $300 a year. The pre-sale's $250. Still the absolute best value you're going to get for a swim club. And it's all related to our increasing costs. This is kind of related to, the next one up is the water rates. We're having increases on our cost of water because the requirements for the filtration and the purification systems are, DEP is giving us tougher standards, costing us more to meet those standards, and this is helping compensate for that and reimburse us for that. So this is the second reading. Anyone like to bring anything before the commission? This is your opportunity to do so. Okay, Tom?
Mayor Mealy?
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson? Yes. And then we have second reading and public hearing of ordinance 1725, amending chapter 301 of the Code of the Borough of Collins with water rates.
And this is putting, increasing water rates effective the first of the year. Again, related to the same issues we're having. DEP has tightened the standards on water quality, requiring us to do all kinds of new filtration systems, kind of raising the bar a little bit to keep our water clean and safe, and this is helping fund. Anyone like to bring anything before the commission? This is your opportunity. Yes, sir.
George Harris, Forest People.
Yes.
So we got notice from the water company that we should be taking a picture of our water main connection. And I know from the past that they used to make the water main pipes out of lead.
Right.
So when those pipes have to be replaced, who pays the cost of it?
And we pick the cost of running that main in is our cost. Right? All right.
So it's not been in the past, but with the new law being passed, right now we're just gathering and inventory of our set. We don't have full lead services. We have once we get the inventory of it all, there's going to be a loan we're going for, and the private contractors. We're responsible up to the curb as the borough, but now with this new law, the state is going to be nearly responsible for replacing that.
So just to update for everybody, anybody out there too, Steve Diorio was responding to it. This is a new state law that requires us to do an inventory to collect all the data on whether or not we have any sections or a pipe that is lead. That if it is, that we need to replace it at our cost. It's a new state law that they passed. It's a good thing, not a bad thing. It's always great to pass laws when you pass the cost on to somebody else to go to satisfy. So we're doing that inventory. That's why we have the system of texting the photos of what your service is, because we can identify. So far, we've been in pretty good shape, but we're finding, to our surprise, that most of it is galvanized, that it's not been lead. And then we'll be seeking the funding for that from the state, borrowing money from them to be able to go do it.
And the gentleman mentioned that was to the curb.
No, it used to be, the rule's always been the borough was responsible and paid for it up to the curb. But the new state law makes us under this requirement responsible to make sure that you don't have lead going into your house. Okay, so we're gonna have to cover that part. Doesn't really address what happens 10 years from now when that line breaks, okay? But for right now, we have to cover that for replacing that.
It's still very much the homeowner's responsibility.
Yes, yeah, I think our responsibility is a big one, but it's gonna be, once we replace it, it's not lead, then it goes back to the old rule where we're responsible to bring the water up to the curb. Okay? Okay.
Mayor
Yes.
Bailey?
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson?
Yes.
Okay, we have the first reading of salary ordinance 1726 for the 2022 salaries.
Cassandra, this is for everybody else this was, huh? This is for all the other positions, all the unrepresented positions in the borough, right? That's what this is. So first reading, second reading will be at the,
December 28th.
it'll be at the December 28th. So we have a meeting on December 28th at 10 a.m. Same meeting we have every year, traditionally referred to as a cleanup meeting, where there's a lot of accounting that gets done, transfers and things like that. But that's the public hearing on this will be on the December 28th. Okay,
Mayor Bailey?
yes.
Commissioner Robinson?
Yes.
We have the first reading of ordinance 1727, amending chapter 247 of the Code of the Borough of Collins with sewer rents.
Same thing. This will be heard related to all the water improvements that we're doing is also sewer and collecting money through that to help pay for all those water improvements. Public hearing will be December 28th, 10 a.m.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson?
Yes.
And then we have the first reading of ordinance 1728, amending chapter 301-10 of the Borough of the Code of the Borough of Collins with its water fire protection service charge.
So this is changing the fee that's charged to other municipalities where we provide water service, and it's changing the fees for the fire hydrant service that's provided, the water-related fire hydrant service provided in those other towns. And it's a charge that goes to those towns. Public hearing will be December 28th, 10 a.m.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Commissioner Robinson?
Yes.
Public comment on the resolution item?
So anyone have any comment on the items on the resolutions, just on this agenda? We can talk about whatever else you want to talk about later on. Yes, Jen, just give the address for the record. Okay.
So Jen Rossi, 114 Palmer Avenue. I have a question about the attorney lease agreement
They do. This lease is for the former, this is Ingerman has agreed to lease us a building which they just purchased, which is at the end of Knight Avenue. Used to be Oliveri Architects, used to be Palermo Construction, but they're leasing it to us so that we can have the Odyssey of the Mind do their practices and, do all their activities in that building while it's still there. So it's a lease, we're leasing the building from them so that we have a home for Odyssey of the Mind for the upcoming year.
But was it groundbreaking supposed to start October, during the fall? 2022?
Well, I don't know, when obviously they won't be in there when that's happening. But I think it runs, doesn't it kind of run the springtime? Isn't it done by summertime? I think it's kind of done by summertime.
Yeah, the lease ends May 31st.
All right, when does it, I have Odyssey here.
Season will end in May.
Season ends in May. So we're just getting something done. We're trying to plug in the holes here constantly with Odyssey because the demands they have for space are really difficult. So this is gonna solve us for this season. We'll see what comes next.
That's good enough. Thank you.
Sure. Are you looking at chats or people asking?
We have a hand.
Okay.
Hello, Kate Delaney, 126 East Palmer Avenue. I was reading in the retrospect earlier last month, actually, that since 2018, the water rates have gone up close to 33%. So I was wondering how you would account for that pretty steep increase.
Sure, it's pretty easy. It's called changes, as I discussed, changes to the DEP regulations. So as they tighten up the standards for things like PFOAs and other contaminants in the water that were okay at a certain level, but now the levels are dropped, we need to do new treatment processes. We've done some temporary processes, but we have long-term processes that are literally $6 to $10 million over the next 3 to 4 years that we need to do upgrades to that. For the borough to maintain our own water system, which everybody agrees is a good thing, we have to seriously invest in the water infrastructure. And that's all this goes to. Those water rates go to that water running the water plant. And I'll just add that our rates are still significantly below New Jersey American or any private water company that you're going to find. Okay?
And is there any state or federal funding that could offset the cost that's going to be, shouldered by taxpayers?
There is, and we're already in the queue applying for all of that.
But would that impact next year?
If we get it, it would reduce what we have to raise in the future, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, resolutions. First resolution.
Nathan Tiefenthaler?
Tiefenthaler. Yes, Nathan.
Nathan, as volunteer firefighter EMT for the Collinsville Fire Department.
Welcome back, Nathan. Yes, Nathan was in service, right? In the military for a while, now he's back and doing something. Yes.
Appointing deputy court administrators Elena Klein and Tara Riley.
Yes.
Appointing part-time court employees Robert Eckert as court bailiff and Sandra Powell as court recorder.
Yes.
Approving the salary resolution for fire superiors.
Yes, this is simply implementing the ordinance that we just adopted on the fire superiors, yes.
Approving the 2021 Board of Commissioners meeting schedule for 2022.
Yes.
Appointing Steve Diorio as interim DPW superintendent.
Just want to take a moment, welcome Stephen, to the new role. Good luck. Stephen's been running our water facilities. Known Stephen and his family for a long time, as we discussed the other day. Most of them good, but for a long time. But Stephen, Stephen will be taking over DPW. There'll be a little transition. I want to thank Chief Carey for filling in and taking this over on a part-time basis. He never signed up for the trash horrors that we went through this summer, as we went through pandemic hangover. Did a masterful job, great work, it was great to get through it all. Stephen, we wish you the best, and we're looking forward to many years of great improvement with our public works, now that they don't have to pick up trash. So thanks, so yes.
Yes. Awarding a contract for 120 Woodard for the implementation, support and program consulting services for lead service line replacement.
So that's the lead service line replacement, bringing somebody in to help with coordinating all that, that's what this is, yes.
Yes.
Authorizing to enter into a lease agreement with Interim for 17 West Ninth Avenue.
And this is what I talked about earlier, this is we're leasing, going to be leasing the building at the end of night from Interim, who just bought it as part of their redevelopment project, and we're leasing it for Odyssey the Line to go in there for this next season. Yes.
Yes.
Canceling tax account balances less than $5.
Yes.
Yes.
Transfer and budget appropriations within the 2021 budget.
Yes, so this is simply transferring line items on budget items within the budget. That's what happens this meeting, and especially at the end of the year meeting, where we have money left over in paper that we budgeted for but didn't buy, but we needed to pay the electric bill. We'll transfer between the line items in order to pay. Yes.
Canceling of budget appropriations
Yes.
Yes.
and authorizing payment of bills as presented by the treasurer.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna take a few minutes, so I'm gonna go a little bit out of order. I usually let everybody else talk first. I just want to go over with everybody some things that have been going on over the last couple of months, 6 weeks, that have to do with Parkview. It's kind of reached a head right now, and I just want to update everyone. We received notice in mid-October that the current owners of Parkview had entered into an agreement of sale with a new owner, and it was actually October 15th. They requested us to approve the transfer of the redevelopment agreement, the financial agreement, over to the new owners. That's a process we've been through before. We've done that with other purchasers. We did that with the current owner of that team. We met with the new owners on November the 4th. Laid out our concerns to them of improvements we wanted to see at the property. Number one on that list was safety and security. We relayed to them at that meeting that in our opinion, having security in the lobbies that control door accesses into those buildings was paramount. There have been some severe incidents over the last year or so, and we need to get a better control over who is coming in the building, what is going on in the lobbies of the building. We couldn't have been clearer. We went over everything, all the other issues as well. Last year we had experiences with heating issues there. I think they've pretty much been resolved because of the work of our fire department with the current owners in getting them to utilize their systems correctly so that they've been providing heat. Their systems have worked more properly. We told the new owners about issues with pests and infestation, about the garage there and work that had to be done. Following up on that meeting on November 4th, we sent over to them an extensive request for documents for us to do our due diligence to review the new owner. And we made requests for commitments to this work, most especially security. Now, we did a site visit. I was not able to go on the site visit. I was sick as a dog, but the rest of the crew all went and did a site visit at a Pennsylvania location that is owned by this company. It's It's a roughly 300 units. It's one of the bigger that they own currently. And we've had some documents exchanged with them. We have not, however, made any progress with respect to security issues. I'll add this note. When they came and contacted us in mid-October, their push has been that the buyer has a need to close by the end of this year so that they can maximize their tax benefit. They're doing an exchange on this property. They'll have to pay taxes on profit from another property if they don't get this completed by the end of the year. As I said, when we first met with them, which was 2 weeks after they gave us notice, we told them straight out, needs to be security personnel in the lobbies, at the doors, controlling those doors. You got to give us some kind of a plan for that. We have gotten no proposal for that. We have gotten a couple different iterations of basically, here's what we plan we might do, but as recently as Friday afternoon, late in the day Friday, an email from them said, I think the words were something to the effect of, we are reticent to make any commitments about when or that we actually will do these things. We'll kind of decide things as after we get there. The buyers have no experience with a property of this size. The properties which they showed us are roughly 300, which is about a third the size, roughly equal to one of the 4 buildings at the Parkview. When they took our crew through the tour of this other property in Pennsylvania, it's nothing like the lobby at the Parkview buildings. It's more of kind of a hallway that they have security that is a key fob system, and they feel works well. When we have talked to them, that is not an answer because people are propping doors open for friends, and then people who are not necessarily friends are making use of those open doors. There are numbers of people that are gathering in lobbies, and we're having calls for service related to that we must control. It must get controlled. Even, we've been fighting this fight for a few years now, but even the last year or two with the current owners, we finally got a security system put in place, some security guards, and they drive around. That's not even proposed by the new owners. They've told us pretty clearly that their methodology here is that they're going to change over who lives there. And when they change over who lives there, the safety issues will be better. We have grave concern about that whole line of management, and don't feel that that they have the qualifications and the experience to run a project like this. Way back, when we did this deal back in '96, the issues we had with the management, with the ownership then, were a group of guys that this was the first time they ever did a project close to this size, okay? And they were ill-equipped from a capital standpoint, from a management standpoint. That's what led to us having to do what we did back in '96. So having this be the first time they do anything of this kind of complexity and size, in our opinion, is not, at this point, we are not satisfied that it's a good entity to transfer to. And I'll point out, this is the third or fourth time that we've had a transfer requested. We really haven't had this issue before because the entities coming in to take over, even the current owners, handle properties of this size. We've never had this before. So we're being asked to consent on what we need. Well, we have to, if we were to do anything, we have to act tonight because it takes 2 readings to get it done for this year. And we've had 6 weeks, and it's a $140 million deal that they want us to do our due diligence on. Under our redevelopment agreements from way back in 1996, We've got the ability to do due diligence on the proposed owners to make sure that they're capable of doing the project. We do not believe that they are at this point. There's a request to transfer the pilot agreement, which goes hand in glove with that redevelopment agreement about who's going to be taking over and doing this work. We have gotten a number of verbal representations that they're going to be spending money, improving units as they turn over the tenants. But we have not gotten addressed security issues that we believe are the critical piece. We've been trying, we've adopted an ordinance, we've been trying to get some work done. We got something put in place with a few months to review it. We believe there's got to be a major change with respect to security. The email we got Friday from the purchasers said two things. Said one, we're paying a premium for this property and putting security in the lobbies is too expensive, okay? And at least for me, you can't say both. You can't say, we're paying more than we should for the property, but we can't afford to do the things that are necessary to make the place safe. And then 5:30 tonight, when we let them know that we were not going to be taking any action on this tonight, just confirming for them, because we haven't gotten what we've asked for. We got a lovely threatening email from Morgan's, from the property owners, current property owners' general counsel they are, I think, their general counsel. Threatening lawsuits against the borough, threatening to sue me personally. I'm sure they're watching tonight. That we have no right to do this. We have no ability to do this. Goes on and on and on. It's a lovely little email. This crisis where they have to close by the end of the year is purely created by their buyer that needs to close to maximize his tax benefit. We have had 4 weeks. We have asked for documents, gotten most of them. We've asked for security plans. No, we haven't gotten anything in the way of a security plan. We've gone out, our crew's gone out and done a site visit. They did not give us any comfort in that site visit, that they have the ability to handle this project. And for those reasons, we're not putting anything, we have not put anything on the agenda. We're not going to be moving on it. Part of what they threatened in their lawsuit was that we didn't even consider this. Well, we considered this. And that's why I'm putting on the record, just to let everyone know what's gone on over the last 6 weeks and why we're not acting, okay? Commissioner Lewandowski, I talked to him today. He's on board with us. He knows exactly where we are on all this. And I think that's kind of everything I have. Okay, it's enough. Commissioner Robinson, anything you'd like to say?
I would like to add, reiterate that we're not in the business of maximizing a buyer's tax benefit. We're here to keep people safe. We're here to do right by the people who elected us and the people we live with and our neighbors. And the idea that the main way to fix this building is to re-tenant it. They said on the site visit, I did go on the site visit, and they just kept talking about a new demographic, get new people in, change the population of the buildings. And it made me more than uncomfortable. I really, really can't sit by and like just completely unveiled language of how they're going to fix it. Simply using cameras and levying fees and penalties on people who step out of line. If you can't pay the fee, if you won't pay, it has to be a human approach. It can't be, let's put cameras in every single corner and punish everyone. It doesn't seem like the way you improve a neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. There's all kinds of holiday stuff going on. Okay, I had to get all that out there. We've got, the avenue's been packed. Encourage everybody to get out. We're on the run now. There's stuff going on at the water a lot, pretty much every weekend. All the usual carolers are out, everybody having a grand old time. We're having lots of fun with this, our own little holiday season with the parking, but Make sure you get out, support all our businesses, really encourage that. On the bad note, we're required from the state to let everybody know that all the executive orders and all of those steps that the governor took to stop us from having the regular collections of taxes, collections of water shutoffs, all those things, that all comes to an end January the 1st, okay? So if you owe any money on any kind of municipal service or municipal charge, please pay the bill to hold everything off. If you need to talk to somebody about it, contact the borough. More than happy to talk to anyone. But we're required to tell everybody that. That's all happening. Okay? All right. Hey, hang on one second. I think that I covered. We good? Joseph, anything? We good? Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Good. Open up to the floor. Yes, sir.
Getting back to the Parkview situation.
I'm sorry. The Parkview. Yes.
Typically, I work in the communications business, and what we do is we put a request for bid out to big vendors. You might want to get ADT and Siemens and people like that to come to the Parkview and offer suggestions as to what they think it needs. Rather than guess, a different door, a different lock, a different, these are people that do high-rise building security for banks and things like that, so they really know how to protect. So maybe you should get 3 bids.
Well, it's not our job. Okay.
Property.
Yeah. It's not our job. And we have this thing called the police department.
Yeah.
Okay. And the police chief has been intimately involved with all of it. And so it's up to them, like on the ordinance we adopted earlier in the year, they submitted a security plan, which has like roving guards. We let that go in place to see how things go, but we still are of the opinion as time has passed that like we got to do something to control those doors. That's been the #1 issue forever and ever at that place. It's controlling those doors. And it hasn't ended. When there's bad actors doing things, most of the time it's people that shouldn't be in the building are in the building because they got in because somebody let them in. Okay? And it's usually not, human nature. If there's somebody else coming at the door and you're there, you're opening the door and letting the person in, right? It's gotta get controlled. And that's what we're trying to get accomplished now. Okay? All right, anybody else? This is the public session. Yep, go ahead, Jen.
Rossi, 114 Palmer Avenue. So go back to pilots and the Hanap redevelopment, has that been gotten in second reading, or what's the process for the incentive for Ingram
That won't be till next year.
next year?
Yeah. Hasn't been introduced, we haven't really gotten to that point.
Has the
There's
joint
a-
land use board discussed it yet, about the
About
redevelopment? Because that last month I saw on the agenda here, that was being pushed over to the joint land use board for redevelopment.
for designation.
Yes. that's
Yes. The designation will be at their January meeting.
January, okay. Is that the same as the zoning board, or is that different?
It's all one board now. Made them
Yeah.
all one board.
Okay.
It's one with the joint land use board. It's one board.
Got it. Just because I don't think really a pilot, but we already have half of our units in town are rental properties, according to the census. I don't know if adding more rental properties is necessarily where we want to go, considering we also are renting space for like our kids to be able to do rec programs and things. I just don't, I'm the opinion that I'm sharing here, that I don't think Ingram needs to necessarily offer a pilot unless they're giving us something that we can need part of it.
Okay. All right, thanks. Anybody else? Yeah, let me go to Mr. Clary. Yes, sir.
Richard Carterman, 743 Maple Terrace. I want to thank the Public Works for getting 2 loads of leaves to the community garden for our work party on Saturday. And the other information.
It's not, those words don't go together. Work party, but go ahead.
The other information is be informed the commissioners that the community garden got a 5th blue ribbon from PHS in the last 6 years.
Very nice. That's a Pennsylvania Horticultural Society, for anybody who doesn't know. How about that? Very good. Way to go. Thank you. And we only gave him 2 truckloads of leaves? You can get more, I think, if you
No,
want.
no, that's enough.
That's it, yeah. Yes, sir, you had your hand.
Yeah, I have a question. What are they gonna do with the old firehouse? Now we've got the brand new one,
The old firehouse is owned by the fire company.
right?
So I don't know. I hear rumors that someone's gonna buy it, but I don't know. Just don't know. It's up to them what they're gonna do with it. Fire company, okay? Yep. Anyone else? Okay, everyone have a wonderful holiday, okay? Have a great one. I know we will. Have a great Christmas, great holiday, everything. Enjoy. See you next year.